Good evening. I'm Peg Butner. Elaine Cole, Ann Kaiser, and I are the co-chairs of this year's Smithsonian Craft Show. On behalf of Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie Bunch, our honorary chair, Dr. Cynthia Chavez-Lamar, and the Smithsonian Women's Committee, thank you for joining us. I'd like to introduce Eileen Fuchs, President and Executive Director of the National Building Museum, who will welcome us.
Thank you. Hi, good evening, or it feels like afternoon still with this beautiful light in here. I'm Eileen Fuchs, I'm the President and Executive Director of the National Building Museum. We have been so fortunate to be the host of this beautiful event for many, many years, and I just had the pleasure of saying welcome back. So the National Building Museum, our mission is to preserve and celebrate the building arts, recognizing those designers and innovators that continue to influence the way we experience that built world around us. Similarly, the Smithsonian Craft Show showcases juried selected artists and innovators each year to inspire and educate the public about modern craftsmanship. The major difference is visitors and admirers here have the opportunity to bring your works of art home back to their own homes to treasure. I hope you will come back to the museum to experience the artistry and wonder that we bring to our visitors. We're opening the exhibition Brick City on Saturday, May 27th, which celebrates iconic architecture from cities around the world through constructions made from Lego bricks by artists Warren Elsmore. This summer, we welcome artist and architect Chunghi Choo, who will transform the museum's Great Hall with an elegant and provocative new installation entitled Look Here. And this fall, we will open a new permanent exhibition, Building Stories, looking at the built environment through the lens of children's books and illustrations. So many, many reasons to come back and experience our wonder here. So finally, I'd just like to recognize the host committee of this wonderful show and event, the Smithsonian Women's Committee, and give a special shout out to Heidi, who I'm told needs no last name. She's like Cher, like Madonna, okay? Who organizes all the logistics and details that attract such amazing artisans and visitors and make the craft show such a success. So enjoy your evening. Once again, welcome to the National Building Museum.
Thank you, Eileen. This building has been our home and venue for 28 years and is always wonderful to return. The Craft Show is the major fundraiser for our grants program, which benefits the Smithsonian Museum's education and research facilities and the National Zoo. A huge thanks to all of our sponsors, donors, and attendees for supporting this year's show. Thank you as well to the 2023 Smithsonian Craft Show Committee, to our 120 participating artists, to our jurors, Dorothy Kaczynski, Robert Liu, Doreen Redcloud, and Joanna Sykes, who selected these artists. We also thank our extraordinary program administrator, Heidi Ostring, and Advancement Associate Hannah Jones. Without all of you, there would be no craft show. Now I would like to turn the podium over to Kathy Sommerkamp, President of the Smithsonian Women's Committee.
Thank you, Peg, and welcome to all of you here this evening. I want to recognize Elliot Gruber, Director of the National Postal Museum. Don't see him, but he's going to be here, I understand.
Elliot's in the back. You can always see Elliot.
Right. Miriam Springuel, Director of Smithsonian Institution Traveling Exhibition Service. And from the Smithsonian Office of Advancement, Rob Spiller, Charlotte Gaylor, John Farrell, and Frank Edwards. And lastly, I want to give a special welcome to Secretary Bunch. This is the first show Lonnie has attended in person since he became secretary, and I'm extending him a warm welcome as we show our support for all that he has done as secretary during these challenging times. And we are thrilled to see Maria Mirabal Bunch, his wife. Maria is an honorary member of the Women's Committee.
I have to applaud.
Thanks to all of you for joining us this evening. In so doing, you are supporting the Smithsonian Women's Committee's grants to the Smithsonian, which we greatly appreciate. Peg and Elaine, you and the Craft Show Committee have done an amazing job of making this show happen. A key contributor to this fabulous event has been honorary chair of this year's show, Dr. Cynthia Chavez-Lamar. Director of the National Museum of the American Indian. She's the director since 2022, the first Native woman to be named as the Smithsonian Museum Director. Of San Felipe Pueblo, Hopi, Tiwa, and Navajo heritage, she has been at the museum most recently since 2014. She's an accomplished curator, author, and scholar whose research interests are focused on Southwest Native art and the methodologies and practices involved in collaborating with Indigenous communities. She's been a wonderful partner over the past year as we've planned the show. She helped us recruit Native and Indigenous artists to apply to the show, and with her staff, she helped promote the show. She's gone all out, and we greatly appreciate her contributions and are thrilled to have her speak to us this evening. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you, Kathy, for that warm introduction. I hope you would just grant me a few moments here. I'd like to do something very special for all of you. I'd like to ask Mr. Ralph Zotai and Mr. Dennis Zotai to join me up here, please. As the director of the National Museum of the American Indian, we represent Indigenous cultures of the Western Hemisphere, and there are certain ways that we do things. And this evening, we'd really like to open up tonight's event with a song, and you are in for a treat. These two gentlemen here are beautiful singers. So with that, Dennis, did you want to say a few words?
Yes. Thank you, Cynthia. I'm a part of the Smithsonian family also, and it gives me great pleasure to sing for all of you tonight. I will have to say this is my daughter, who's an aspiring 16-year-old interior designer. This is her favorite museum. So she's going to be impressed that we got to sing here. The song we're going to sing tonight recognizes each one of you. The Smithsonian family, the Smithsonian Women's Committee, and the building that we're having this structure in, and all of the craftspeople who have joined us today. This is your welcome song. It's a blessing song for each one of you. And we hope that you ingest it and feel it in your heart. And as we go about singing this song, that it touches you in a good way. This is one of our honoring songs.
Hey
Thank you, Mr. Zoltan, and thank you, Dennis. That was a wonderful way to open up this festive event. Serving as the honorary chair of this year's craft show is very meaningful to me. The arts have always been an important part of my life. My mother created in clay, and my father is a master jeweler and lapidary artist, as is my brother. And while in college, I studied printmaking and photography, but becoming a full-time artist wasn't in my future. Instead, the museum profession became my career path, which allowed me to continue to work in the arts, thankfully. And in my role as director of the National Museum of the American Indian, I oversee a museum that cares for a collection of nearly 1 million items, highlighting the breadth and depth of Indigenous arts. Through the museum's exhibitions and programs, we endeavor to feature the excellence and diversity in Native and Indigenous creativity. The artists in this year's craft show beautifully illustrate the 2023 theme, Celebrating the American Spirit. I'm pleased to share that the show is featuring 12 Indigenous artists whose work showcases their talent and inventiveness. Also, the Institute of American Indian Arts, the only 4-year degree fine arts institution in the world devoted to contemporary Native American and Alaska Native arts, also has a booth here to share information about the college. In addition to supporting the artists exhibiting here, the craft show is one of the many ways the Smithsonian Women's Committee supports the work of the institution. Throughout their history, they have made more than $11 million in grants to the Smithsonian, helping to fund our exhibitions, programs, research, and educational initiatives. I would like to offer my sincere thanks to the committee for the invaluable support of the Smithsonian. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you also to Kathy for your leadership of the Women's Committee, and to Peg, Ann, and Elaine for serving as co-chairs of this year's event. It's truly been a pleasure working with you, and thank you for your patience with me. But it was fun. And thank you to our colleagues at the National Building Museum for your hospitality. And to the artists, I hope you can hear me, for joining us this year. Allow me to welcome you to Washington, D.C. and to the 2023 Craft Show. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your talents with everyone who will attend this event. It's going to be a great show, right, everybody? It's now my pleasure to welcome Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie Bunch to the podium.
Now tell me this isn't the best night of the year. This is so special. I cannot tell you how pleased I am to be here and how pleased I am to enjoy this craft show. Now I've got to be honest, let me correct. This is the first one I came to as secretary, but I've been to a whole lot of them as curator, director, so this is old home, so thank you for letting me come back. You know, I have to be honest, when I walked around and saw the amazing creativity and the artistry that's here, I was so moved. And I realized that in some ways the theme of tonight, the American spirit, is so fitting for this show. Because it's in terms of not just diversity, but in terms of diversity of ideas, of creativity, of beauty. And in some ways, what this idea is that's really captured in this show is that these pieces reflect different lenses, different ways to understand who we are as a people, from a variety of lenses that really make this exceptional. And I have to tell you, what I love is that this also reminds us that the American spirit is a spirit we all share. We may look at it from different directions, we may bring different creativity to it, but coming together allows us to be that nation, that community that we all love and we want us to be. So in some ways, tonight is a model of what we want America to look like and think like. But you know, for me, when I look around, I am so driven and so touched by the spectrum of creativity. I'm grateful to all the attendees, and I'm especially grateful to the artists. The kind of work, sharing your soul with us, means so much to us, and I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank and echo what Cynthia said. First of all, I love the fact that Cynthia is really was the honorary co-chair of this, because she brought this great creativity to us. So Cynthia, thank you so much for what you've done. Please, we can clap. It's okay. But I'd also like to really echo what she said about the Smithsonian's Women's Committee. This work that you have taken on is really the way that the Smithsonian is able to do so much. It's able to do research projects and exhibition projects and educational moments because of your support. But I say that not just as secretary, but as somebody who throughout my career has received 2 Women Committee grants. I thought I was going to get 3, but I didn't get that one. I got 2. But I think what is really key is that what you're supporting tonight is both the artist and an institution. And that is so important to me, and I want to thank you for that. I mean, I can talk about all the artists that are here, but I really want to focus on 2 artists in particular, to recognize their work, because it's a great honor to bestow on these 2 artists the Smithsonian Visionary Award, who are experts in their field and who bring great creativity. Both of tonight's honorees have objects in many collections, including the Smithsonian's Renwick Gallery. What I love about them is they've demonstrated distinction, creativity, and vision in their mediums. They have shared their time and their talent with the next generation of artists, and they have risen to the pinnacle of creativity. Our first awardee is Chunghi Choo, and she is a world-renowned metalsmith. She has significant works in textiles and jewelry, but she is best known for creating metal hollowware using techniques like electroforming and electro-applique. So that tells you I'm a historian. I don't know what that is, but I know it's beautiful. So thank you for letting the Philistine historian be here tonight. But I think that what really from her work is you see that her pieces are dynamic and they're graceful, and they're technically and visually compelling. In addition to her artistry, she is the professor emeritus at the University of Iowa, where she established an internationally prominent metals program. The art historian and curator, Jane Malash, interviewed Professor Choo while she was chief curator at the Renwick. In that interview, she commented that some art educators let go of their own work and other artists cannot teach. But you have achieved a balance and harmony in your teaching and making of art. It is that rare combination of being such a renowned artist, but also caring fervently and passionately about your protégés that really makes this a joy for us to give you this award. The Smithsonian is immensely grateful for your rich contributions to the field, and we are honored by your promise to leave your papers to the Archives of American Art. Yeah, Secretary, I always do a little business. Because the work you've done is so important. So in some ways, tonight's award is certainly well deserved. And so congratulations, Professor Choo. No, not yet. I was told to do it this way, so I always do what I'm told. Our next awardee is Mary Lee Hu. an artist known internationally for developing her own technique of applying textile methods to metals. Working almost exclusively in gold, she loops, she wraps, she weaves, and twines the material to create wearable art and jewelry. She is the past president of the Society of North American Goldsmiths and a distinguished art educator. Ms. Hu spent many years teaching contemporary art jewelry, primarily in the University of Washington, where she wrote a curriculum about the global history of body adornment. In both her artwork and scholarship, she demonstrates a great appreciation for international and indigenous communities and ethnic body ornamentation. She draws on diverse influences from across the globe to produce these amazing works. She has been called a person who is in a class of her own. She is focused and committed to her work and has stretched the boundaries of the field. She has shared her wisdom and her research and her creativity with hundreds of students that she's touched. This award recognizes both your impact on education and on the profound artistry of those who will follow you. Congratulations, Ms. Hu. Both of tonight's awardees have a deep and lasting impact on countless young artists, but they've created beautiful work that will be with us forever. They will be revered in museums around the world. With that, please welcome Chunghi Choo and Mary Lee Hu to the stage to receive this year's Smithsonian Visionary Award. Now's the time. We're so pleased you're here. Thank you. This one's for you.
Thank you so much.
What a treat. Can I get everybody to stand here? Oh, come on, get a picture. It's the best part of my job. Thank you very much. Another round for these gifted artists, please. Bravo!
Thank you so much, Secretary Bunch. That was great. And congratulations to Chunghi Choo and Mary Lee Hu. Now we turn to another award, the Delphi Award. This award is given annually to one or more mid-career artists whom experts predict will one day achieve the pinnacle of sculptural art and design. And this year, the award goes to Amber Cowan, whose sculptural glass work is based on the rejuvenation and reuse of American pressed glass. The majority of the material that she uses is the scrap glass left after production run in an obsolete glass factory. She searches for this glass and remelts it into the forms of her sculptures. Her work is displayed in the vitrines around the fountain here, and I'd like Amber to come up and receive this award as we give her a round of applause. It's two, oh no, it's one piece. It's very heavy.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Picture the two. It's this heavy. We have to use this in a piece. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, indeed, our visionary and Delphi awardees are creative and impressive. But I have to add one sentence about the Zotai singers. Many of you know much of my world exists in music, and choral singing in particular. I was unbelievably touched by what I heard tonight, and I just had to add that. So now we are ready to announce the Craft Show Awards. There are 3 Artist Choice Awards that will be voted on by the artists and handed out on Friday afternoon. We would like to thank the donors of those awards: Martha and David Martin, Lisa Nye Dawson, and Louise Milligan and Amy Meadows. Given the exceptional quality of work by all artists in the show, selecting just 8 artists for awards has been a tough challenge for our judges this afternoon. We thank our judges, Jordan Allers, Oscar Fitzgerald, and Mary Zabit, for undertaking this task. So now the ribbons have been just handed out. The awards will be posted on signs inside the artist booths. Please congratulate them as you see their extraordinary work and have a chance to have conversations with them. Now, as we announce the awards, we ask that you hold your applause until all 8 winners have been announced. We begin with the first-time artist, donated this year by the 2023 Preview Night Host Committee. The first-time artist award goes to Chunghi Choo in booth 302 and in jewelry. Honoring the future mission is to harness the power of art to educate, empower, and engage the public on climate change. This year, the award was selected by Wendy Mariyama, and it goes to Jimmy Park, booth 126 in jewelry. The next award, New Direction, Excellence in Design of the Future, is donated by Kate Nemec-Simons. This award is presented to Jiang Chung in booth 330 in paper.
Oh, sorry about that. The Excellence in Jewelry Award is donated by Ornament Magazine, given in loving memory of Carolyn Benesh, and selected by Patrick Benesh-Liu and Robert Liu. This year, the award goes to Erin Maxey and Francis Kite, booth 215. The Bronze Award is donated by Diane and Mark Grainer and goes to Mark Laub, booth 309, Furniture. The Silver Award, given by the Nelnet Foundation, is presented to Francisco and Laura Batista, booth 320, Decorative Fiber.
So our Gold Award this evening is the Susie Gray Founders Award, donated by Jeffrey Gray and selected by Susie Gray. Susie is a Smithsonian Women's Committee member and founder of the Smithsonian Craft Show. This year the winner is Yan Feng in Lo in booth 505 in Decorative Fiber. And finally, we have the Lloyd E. Herman Best in Show Award, renamed this year in memory of the founding director of the Renwick Gallery and the godfather of the Smithsonian Craft Show. It is donated by Jenna and Larry Huff and Tim Haar. Best in Show is awarded to Harlan Riano and Lisa Holt. Booth 316 in ceramics. Let's applaud these artists. So in the words of our honorary chair, Dr. Cynthia Chavez Lamar, who said, "Through art we can all learn more about our world and each other." Thank you all for joining us at this year's event, and we hope you enjoy the show.